The Legend of Dagbon Kindom, a story of the Dagbon people. Did you know that there's a place in northern Ghana where history comes alive under the moonlight, where the drums don't just beat, they sing stories that are older than time itself? Well, if you haven't heard about the legend of the Dagbon Kingdom, then get ready to be transported to a world where warriors dance with phantoms, where ancient rulers still hold court in the stars, and where the very ground remembers the footsteps of its ancestors. Welcome to my channel. Today we journey to the realm of the Dagbon people. If you're new here and love stories like this, please subscribe and support us by liking this video. Let's begin. The night was alive with sound. Around the great fire, the Lunsi drummers struck their skins in slow rolling beats. The drums did not merely echo in the dark, they spoke. Each rhythm carried a name, a memory, a story. Children huddled close, eyes wide, while the elders nodded with quiet recognition. And as the flames leapt into the sky, the griot's voice rose above the drumming. "Listen, children of Dagbon," he said, his voice like gravel and honey. "For tonight, we call back the steps of our ancestors. Tonight, we walk the path of Tahazy the Red Hunter. We go back in time to the dawn of the Dagbon Kingdom. Picture this, a vast savanna stretching as far as the eye could see, dotted with acacia trees and herds of roaming animals. In this land lived a man named Tahazy. He wasn't just anyone. Oh no, he was known as the Red Hunter, not because of his skin color, but because of the red ochre he painted himself with during hunts. It was a symbol of courage, strength, and respect for the spirits. One day, Tahazy was walking in the bush when he came across a small wounded bird. Instead of eating it, he nursed it back to health. And what happened next was pure magic. The grateful bird revealed a hidden watering hole to him, one that bubbled with life-giving water. In a land scorched by drought, this discovery made him a hero. Tahazy was a man blessed by the spirits, a visionary who led his people away from hardship and towards a future filled with promise. As the years rolled by, he led them west, venturing beyond the familiar lands east of Lake Chad. They traveled through thick forests and golden plains, facing hunger and exhaustion. Yet despair was a stranger to them. For Tahazy didn't just lead his people. He was their protector, their healer, and their guiding light. Whenever trouble brewed on the horizon, he would raise his staff high and utter words that calmed the fiercest storm. His mere presence instilled courage in the hearts of his people. After a long and arduous journey, they reached a place near the Borku Plains, a region that looked like a giant resting elephant. Here, Tahazy felt the presence of the spirits. He knew this was where their destiny lay, where they would establish their kingdom. Then, one day, while sitting around his campfire, Tahazy called his son Puknambo to him. "My son," he said, his voice steady like a drumbeat, "our people cannot remain here. The land grows restless. The winds carry the scent of war. We must follow the path the spirits show us." And so, with his people gathered around, he led them away from the familiar plains, deeper into the unknown. The Red Hunter walked with purpose, his gaze fixed on the path ahead. Every step was a testament to his unwavering spirit, a spirit that refused to bend in the face of adversity. They walked for many days, crossing rivers and climbing hills, until they finally arrived at a clearing. It was a place surrounded by huge shady trees, perfect for building a settlement. This was the beginning of their new life, the foundation of a kingdom that would echo through the ages. Tir Tahazi's grandson, Nad Jibua, would rise to become the chief of the Dagomba, a leader who brought fire and calm in equal measure, a man who could still a quarrel or ignite an army. Under his rule, the kingdom flourished, trade thrived, and justice prevailed. His descendants would carve their own destinies. Sitabu took the mantle of the Dagomba after him. Tahagu journeyed to found Mampragu. Tahagu gave rise to Nanin, and Yeninga Yeninga's story was unlike any other. The griot's voice softened, and the drums shifted into a rhythm of hooves galloping. Yanenga was a fire of her own, her father's best warrior. She rode her horse into battle with a spear flashing like lightning. Enemies fled at the sight of her, for she was as fierce as any man and swifter than the wind. But Yeninga's spirit longed for more than war. When her father tried to bind her in the palace, she chose freedom instead. One moonlit night, she fled, her horse carrying her across rivers and valleys. She was determined to break free from the walls that confined her. It was in the wilderness that she met Riali, a hunter as skilled as the Red Hunter himself. Their meeting was fate, and from their union was born the great mossy kingdom of Burkina Faso. The griot's words lingered. Yanenga teaches us that no wall can contain the spirit of one chosen by destiny. We return to the flickering firelight and the rhythmic pulse of the drums. The griot, bathed in the soft glow, raised his hand, and the dunce responded with a resounding boom. The drums, he said, are not just sound. They are our books, our memory. They tell of Sitabu's line, of Nanarks, who conquered the Tanchigma, of kings who rose and fell, of wars fought, of peace restored. The children leaned closer. With every beat, the griot seemed to pluck names from the air, wrapping them in rhythm. The drums called out the line of chiefs, from the first to the present Jana, each remembered, none forgotten. The drums speak, the griot whispered, and when they speak, even the ancestors listened. The night deepened, and the stories flowed like a river. The griot wove tales as old as time, yet as fresh as the morning dew. He spoke of legendary heroes and the challenges they faced, of battles won and lessons learned, of peace treaties and the bonds that united kingdoms. But he didn't just recite these tales, he breathed life into them. With a flick of his wrist, a stomp of his foot, or a shake of his head, he transformed the stories, making them leap and dance before the eyes of the enthralled listeners. The children gasped at daring escapes, laughed at clever tricks, and shivered at tales of the supernatural. In the flickering firelight, the shadows seemed to come alive. mimicking the movements of the griot and the gestures of his hands. Each story was a world unto itself, a universe of adventure and intrigue. And as the night wore on, the children were transported to magical realms where anything was possible. They soared through the skies with mythical creatures, explored enchanted forests, and witnessed feats of bravery that made their hearts swell with pride. Yet amidst the excitement, there was a deeper current, a thread of wisdom that ran through each tale. The griot didn't just entertain, he also taught. He shared proverbs and life lessons that had been passed down for generations. He spoke of courage, of honesty, of loyalty, and of the importance of respecting elders and preserving tradition. The children listened intently, absorbing the lessons hidden within the stories. With each word, they grew wiser, learning the values and principles that had shaped their culture. As the first rays of dawn began to peek over the horizon, the griot's voice slowed. The drumming softened, and the fire embers glowed softly. It was time for the stories to rest, but their impact on the young minds would last forever. Yawning, stretching, and blinking sleep from their eyes. The children looked up at the griot with admiration and gratitude. The stories had woven their magic, leaving the children transformed and eager to share their newfound knowledge. As they scattered into the rising sun, their laughter echoing in the morning breeze, the griot sat quietly, watching them go. He knew that the stories had taken root, that they would blossom in the minds of the young ones, guiding them through life's adventures. The legend of the Dagbon Kingdom doesn't end with those tales around the fire. It lives on in the hearts and minds of the people. It echoes in the rhythms of the Luncy drums, in the vibrant colours of their festivals, and in the warm smiles of their gatherings. So, if you ever find yourself in the north of Ghana, sitting around a fire under a blanket of stars, listening to the drums and the stories they tell, remember you're part of something bigger, something timeless. You're experiencing the legacy of the Dagbon Kingdom, a kingdom where the past dances with the present and where the spirits of the ancestors guide their children through the rhythm of life.